Well, ladies and gentlemen, we just got the proof. Just earlier today, Chuck Schumer's secret plan regarding the ongoing government shutdown got leaked to the public, and so now we know exactly what the Democrats are up to. Now, as you all know, today marks day number 13, almost 2 weeks of the ongoing government shutdown, which has been entirely manufactured by Chuck Schumer and the Democrats. But earlier today, just hours ago, in fact, Chuck Schumer's plans got leaked, and so now we officially know exactly what's going on here. And so, folks, to really kick off today's report, take a look at this.
Sources are telling me that the whole reason that the Democrats are doing this is because they want to be there for next weekend's No Kings March in Washington, where you're going to see these activists march in Washington this coming Saturday. One senator told me that the groups are threatening Minority Leader Schumer, telling him, you better do this and keep the government closed or we will make you irrelevant. And so do you believe that's what this is about? It's more theatrics than really any, marriage to these Obamacare subsidies?
Well, Maria, the American people are being held hostage by Chuck Schumer's poll numbers. Why did he go with a clean CR in the spring? What's changed is his poll numbers versus AOC have collapsed. And if in fact they are waiting for this No Kings protest, no kings means no paychecks and no government. And Maria, I think the dirty secret here for why this has dragged on for so long is the Democratic friends in the mainstream media have been downplaying this shutdown. And this is getting serious. It's starting to affect the real economy. It's starting to affect people's lives. And if this were the Republicans who were engineering the shutdown, and make no mistake that Speaker Johnson and the House passed a clean CR. Leader Thune calls a vote every night, and 3 Democrats have crossed the aisle. John Fetterman, I believe, was on your show yesterday.
Yes, that's
right. Senator Fetterman said, we got to reopen the government. So we just need a few more Democrats to get away from the radicalized left. But clearly, that's the wing that's taken over the party, and they've been unable to stop President Trump in the courts, in the media. So now they are using a government shutdown to stop his initiatives. President Trump is doing peace deals, trade deals, and tax deals. And the mainstream media refuses to respond to how serious this situation is because they don't want to embarrass the Democrats. If this was a Republican shutdown, this would sound like it was the end of the world.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. As we now know, Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have manufactured this entire government shutdown so that they can have one more talking point during their upcoming nationwide No Kings rally on Saturday, October 18th. Seriously, Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats have voted against opening up the federal government on 8 different occasions now, putting vulnerable Americans and veterans at risk. Also, they can scream and shout into a microphone about how evil President Trump is at their upcoming No Kings rally. And you know what? On that note, take a look at this.
What we do know is this. We have given them 8 chances to vote for a clean funding bill. These are numbers they have voted for 5 times in the past. They have voted no. Chuck Schumer has been planning for this shutdown for a long time, has had a war room set up. We know that the big leftist rallies, those No King rallies, are set for next weekend, and the biggest one is going to be in D.C. And they are saying they want to continue this through those rallies. Chuck Schumer wants to be the big man on campus at that event, wants to throw his fist in the air and say, look at me, I'm fighting Donald Trump. All this while, our troops are not getting paid. President Trump is telling the Department of War to use every means necessary to pay these troops. We also know that 4,000 employees, federal employees, are losing their jobs, and the Democrats don't care. They are that power hungry and that focused on appeasing the far left. So they're not going to stop this. They say they're going to continue.
Now, luckily, President Trump has stepped up to help take care of all of these people during the Democrats' shutdown, but you know what? She's right. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are really nothing more than a bunch of power-hungry anti-American freaks. In fact, here's a little recap of what got us here in the first place. In just the last 12 months alone, the Democrats lost the presidential election, they lost the U.S. House of Representatives, they lost the Senate, and they keep on racking up loss after loss in the U.S. Supreme Court. Really, every single one of their anti-American plans has just colossally failed and oftentimes backfired. And so what are they doing now? Well, they're just doing the only thing they can do. They've manufactured a completely unnecessary government shutdown all so that they can have something to complain about at their upcoming No Kings rally. Also, I just have to say real quick, if Donald Trump really was a king, do you think he would be tolerating a government shutdown? No, he would just decapitate everyone who undermined him, then get on with his day. Back here in reality, President Trump has been doing everything he can to try to break bread with all of these far-left radicals, but they're just so hell-bent on undermining the America First agenda that they refuse to cooperate whatsoever. But you know what? Now I want to talk about what's really going on here behind the scenes, but before we do, I want to say real fast that if you folks enjoy the daily news updates, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a lot. But okay, take a look at this.
The No Kings protest, Maria, really frustrating. I mean, this is part of Antifa paid protesters. It begs the question, who's funding it? But yeah, Democrats want to wait for a big rally of a No Kings protest when the bottom line is, who's running the show in the Senate? Chuck Schumer's not running the show. The No Kings protesters or organizers are running the show. Is AOC threatening a primary against Chuck Schumer? Is she running the show? But you need a strong leader in the Senate to take control and make decisions. And Chuck Schumer's blown in the breeze. He has no power, no authority, because he's given it up to his primary opponent, potentially in AOC, or to the No Kings protester organizers. And it's shameful.
And so, folks, as you all know, that is a massive part of this entire situation as well. The reality is that Chuck Schumer is so petrified of getting primaried out of the Senate by his fellow Democrat, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, that he's actually manufactured this entire shutdown to try to look more progressive than he actually is. And why? Because he's also totally scared of all of the millions of far-left radical progressives that now make up the Democrat base, like all of these people that plan on attending this upcoming No Kings rally. Really, folks, this entire situation is just perhaps the single most pathetic instance of partisan politics in all of American history, and it's happening right this very moment. Now, luckily, as all of this is going on, we have an actual leader back in the White House, President Trump, who's capable of handling situations like this, and most importantly, who's actually capable of putting America first.